Okay, so yes, like we said on our warm-up, a squared plus b, whoa, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, that's what the Pythagorean theorem says. Okay, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So the a, b, and c represent the side lengths of the three sides of a triangle. Now, when we're labeling these, the one that's really important is to get the C, okay? This C right here. So where does the C come from on the right triangle?
The longest side.
The longest side, okay? The C is always the longest side. Okay? C is always the longest side of the right triangle. Now, there's a special name that we call that longest side.
Hypotenuse.
Okay, good. It is the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse. It's always the longest side. Okay? The hypotenuse is always the longest side. And one way that I use to think about this is like, just for example, on number 1. Okay, think of this little right angle mark right here as like an arrow. And it always points towards the hypotenuse.
Wow.
Okay? So this is an arrow, it points towards the hypotenuse. This is an arrow, it points towards the hypotenuse. Okay, now again, the hypotenuse is going to be which one of those three, A, B, or C?
C.
It's always the C. The hypotenuse is always the C. Then from there, the A and the B really don't matter what goes where. If you get the C right, then you're good on the other two, okay? So the way we're going to do this, and I probably should have planned this a little bit better, but on the back of your paper is where we're actually going to do the work, because it's going to get kind of cramped here. All right, so... Okay. So for number 1. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and write the Pythagorean theorem here at the top. And you can just look up here to see the picture. But a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So as you look at that, one side is 12 yards. One side is the side we're looking for, BC. We don't know how long that one is. And then AC is 15. Now those three, the 12, the 15, and the one we don't know, which one is the C?
15.
The 15 is the C. It's the longest side. It's the hypotenuse. So I know the 15 goes in here for C. Okay. So this one is the C value. And then I'm going to say this is the A and this is the B. Okay, so what is our A value? 12. So 12 squared. Okay, what's the B? We don't know. Okay, that's what we're looking for. So you can either leave B there if you want, or I'm just going to put X. I just like that better. Sometimes the B looks like a 6 or something like that. It gets confusing. So I'm just going to put an X. All right, so what we're doing now is we want to find the value of X. Okay? So it's just algebra from here. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to follow order of operations. Exponents is the first thing. So what is 12 squared?
144.
Is 144. Okay, now the x squared, I can't do anything to that yet, so just leave it as x squared. Then what is 15 squared? And yep, 15 squared is 225. All right, now, again, I'm trying to solve for x here. So that means I want to get it by itself. So I've got to get rid of the 144 somehow, and I've got to get rid of this squared somehow. Let's deal with the 144 first. How do I get rid of 144? Take it from both sides. 144 from both sides. So over here, 144 minus 144 is 0. And so 0 plus x squared is just x squared. And then over on the right-hand side, what's 225 minus 144? Is 81. Okay, now I've got x squared equals 81. And sometimes people want to stop there and say that's 81. But look over here. Okay, if this side is 15 right here, if this side is 15, is it possible that this side could be 81?
Could you divide it?
Okay, and first of all, the answer is no. If that side's 15, there's no way that could be 81. Okay, so let's go back to this. We talked about this last week. How do you get rid of a squared? What's the opposite of a square? Is a square root. Those are inverses. So the way I get rid of this square is I take the square root of that. Those are opposites. They're going to undo each other. They cancel each other, so to speak. Okay? And if I take square root of one side, I've got to take square root of the other side. Bless you. Now over here on this side, the square root of x squared, those cancel each other out, like I said.
No.
And then what's the square root of 81? Is 9, that's right. And that is our answer. DC is 9 yards. All right, let's look at number 2. Okay, number 2, we've got the blank, the 2, and the 5. Which one of those three is the C? Is the blank one, the unknown one right here. There's my C. So then where's the A?
2.
Okay, and again, it doesn't matter. You could put the A on either one of those two. So I'm just going to say this is A and that this is B. Some people do like A for altitude and B for base. That's not what that means, but you could think of it like that. Okay, so back over here to the back. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So the way I set that up, I said A is 5. I said B is 2. And C is the one that I do not know. All right, so what's 5 squared?
25.
25. Okay, what's 4 squared? Or 2 squared, I'm sorry. Is 4 equals x squared. Okay, what's 25 plus 4? So we get 29 equals x squared. All right, then what do we do? How do I get rid of this square? Take the square root. Don't forget about that part. Okay, so over here on this side, when I take the square root of x squared, that just leaves x. And over here, and we're just going to get a decimal on this. So what's the square root of 29?
5.38516.
Okay, let me just throw it up here real quick. Square root of 29 is 5.385. We'll write it and say 5.39. Okay. All right, let's see back over here. 5.39 inches. All right, number 3. Okay, so there's a 6, a blank, and a 9. Which one is the C on this one?
9.
The 9 is the C. It's the hypotenuse. It's that longest side. And then I'm going to say this is A and this is B. Bless you.
Bless you.
Bless you. Okay, so back over to here, we have a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, what's my a value? Okay, x. What's my b value? Is 6. And then what's my c value? Is 9. All right, so we have x squared plus what's 6 squared? 36, and 9 squared? 81. Okay, I want the x by itself. So I've got a 36 and a squared. Let's get rid of the 36 first. How are we going to do that? Okay, take it from both sides. Okay, that zeroes out. We get x squared equals 45. Take the square root of both sides. 6.71. Yep. Alrighty. Let's look at number 4. So on number 4, which one is the C? Is the unknown one. And so this is like our A, this is our B. So A squared plus C, A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Okay, I want you to try that one. Okay, so what's the A value? 14. So we have 14 squared. What's the B value? 3. And what's the C value? X, the unknown. So 14 squared is what? 96. 3 squared is what? 9. That equals x squared. So then 196 plus 9 is 205 equals x squared. Take the square root of both sides, and equals 14.32. Okay, so this is just basic Pythagorean theorem stuff. You should have spent a lot of time on Pythagorean theorem in 8th grade. So it should just be refreshing your memory. We are going to talk about some different stuff related to it through this week, though, but I should get you started on the basics.